Hello and welcome to the Precision Medicine Pulse. You'll notice my background is slightly different again this week. I'm back at home in Phoenix after visiting Seattle last week, and we've got a fun show for you guys this week. We're going to be talking a lot about AI. The first topic we'll discuss is how do patients feel when they are interacting with AI in a medical setting. We'll be answering the question like, do they prefer talking to an AI or a human? And you might have your own opinion on what you expect. The other thing then that we're going to be looking at is related to scientific discovery. And I came across a company, Lila Sciences, this week. They announced a $200 million seed round, which is quite big. They're going to be trying to push AI and automation in the life science industry. And I'm going to go into what exactly they're doing and who was involved in their seed round too, just so you get a bit of a brief summary on thinking about where does big capital think this industry is going. But first, to the more lighthearted, fun topic, which is do patients uh, do patients like interfacing with AI? I'm uh, I'm obviously pretty deep in the AI industry myself, and I I've built a bunch of different applications. I even built a voice assistant for my own wedding website. So I'm familiar with building applications for people to use AI to retrieve information where historically it might have been a customer that's giving them that information. And it's a delicate balance when you do this because it's not the norm. People don't usually expect when they call a number or when they chat in a text box or however they're interacting with this thing, they don't expect to be speaking with a robot or an AI just yet. Maybe in a few years, the norm will be that humans interface with machines using their voice, amongst other, or their words. But right now, it is not the norm that this is how you would interface with data systems. And so this study looked to answer how do patients feel about AI drafted responses versus physician drafted responses. There's a nice summary section here of the paper. Essentially, how yeah, how do they feel? And the study was surprisingly so they do have a pretty significant size here, 1,400 patients, and the good news is in general people are happy whether or not it's a medical professional that's drafting the responses to the patient's messages or whether it's AI. The good news is that patients were largely satisfied. Oh, they had a satisfaction score of 75%, as you can read here, regardless of whether or not it was a medical professional or an AI answering the question. Interestingly, though, the satisfaction was actually a little bit higher when the AI was answering the question instead of the human, which would tell you that AI seems to do a better job. And I've seen similar studies that talk about how a medical professional or any type of professional working in a call center, whatever, they have to deal with the same repetitive questions over and over again. So, they get tired. Maybe they had a crying baby at home and they didn't get a good night's sleep, and so they're agitated or more irritable or whatever. There could be a plethora of reasons that a human might not be able to have perfect empathy at any moment in time when answering a question. But generally, what we're seeing and what's starting to emerge is AI systems are more patient than humans. They have infinite patience. You can just program them in and they don't get tired. They answer the same question 1,000 times. They just get better at answering the question. And if you've got some feedback mechanism in there. So in some ways, this is not unexpected that an AI is going to deliver a higher satisfaction than a human. However, this study also found that when the patient found out that it was an AI instead of a human that was drafting these responses, they they then inverted their feelings about how satisfied they were, um, and they found that they were less satisfied when they found out that it was an AI that was delivering them their answers. And it's an interesting thought experiment to think about why this might be the case. You know, you could think about a few different scenarios. Obviously, anyone's medical, their own person, they don't go to a physician or whatever because they feel great. There's some problem, and you want to feel like you're being paid attention to. So, is there a connotation of a low effort response if it's driven by AI instead of a person? Maybe. Do they fear that an AI response is going to be less accurate? Could be perhaps an hallucination. Is that a reason why the satisfaction is lower? Um, or is it something completely different? I don't know. But it's interesting. You go to these trade shows now, and every single precision medicine trade show you'll see somebody or multiple companies having some type of LLM product related to this industry. Do patients want it? How can you build it so that you're giving them enough confidence, they're satisfied enough by the outcomes of this system that they've no issues and they've no problems going with this. So I found this paper quite interesting. It's one of the data points that we have. Anyone that's building with AI in this space, this is an interesting paper. You should read it because this seems to be a trend and it seems to be a growing trend. And we need to design systems that are more patient friendly and deliver better patient outcomes. But it's tough to it's tough to thread the needle too because people do like to deal with people. Anyways, that is on to the next bit of news, which is also AI related, but AI related from not from a let's say a UX or a patient experience perspective, but it's more of a R&D perspective. And it was this deal that was released. The news was actually announced on the 10th of March. So it was a little over a week ago, but it didn't grab to my attention initially. And I saw this news story during the week. It was a company that Lila Sciences is the company. It was founded in 2023, but it seems to have been kind of flying under the radar for the last few years. And now they've announced a massive seed round. And their seed round is of 200 million. And their whole proposition is they want to build a scientific super intelligence in their words. That's the phraseology they're using. What does that mean? This Lila Sciences company, they seem to have a platform that to be able to allow people to discover antibodies, discover peptides, discover binders, do like molecular level engineering in the life sciences space and also in the material sciences space. So it's really an AI powered molecular engineering company with a focus on life sciences as one of their main verticals. It reminded me of this company here, Profilent, who do AI based protein discovery. Profilent has a pretty big they raised 35 million last year and they have a pretty big emphasis on AI. But their emphasis on AI does not extend to the lab. It does not extend to automation within the lab environment either. So they've got automation on the top of the funnel. They develop proteins and then the proteins go to more traditional wet labs. This Lila Sciences company, it seems like they actually want to automate everything end to end from the drug discovery and the molecular engineering on the front end of it. And looking at the nucleotide configurations, like everything at the top of the funnel, all the way down to the bottom of the funnel to the wet lab work. They want to automate everything end to end, and that's a pretty interesting effort. Like that's a pretty if they can do this, which it seems like people like Cathy Woods, Arc Institute seems like she believes they could be doing it because she's one of the big investors. It is a bit of a paradigm shift on how we do precision medicine, and so everyone will have to adjust and adapt. They were incubated by Flagship Pioneering, or they are being incubated by Flagship Pioneering. And Flagship Pioneering are, I guess you'd call them a venture creation studio. They incubated Moderna, which is, pretty famous in this industry. They incubated in indigo agriculture, so they do they don't just do traditional precision medicine companies. They do anything across the life sciences to agricultural engineering as well. And Flagship in and of itself, it has, I think they spin out maybe 8 to 10 companies a year, get them backing, get them support, test out their ideas to see if they fail or they're worth pursuing. And this is a gigantic bet. This $200 million bet is a gigantic bet. But anyways, that's been all in the news for this week. Super heavy on the AI side of things, which is what I like, to be honest. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Have a great week. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll be back again next Tuesday. Goodbye.